All right. Welcome to another episode of Side Note, the podcast dedicated to underground electronic dance music, mostly in LA, and all things related. Great pleasure this week, or this episode, to introduce everyone to Stephen Disario, local techno DJ extraordinaire, resident at 6 a.m. and Synthetic Minds Work Party, and all around very busy producer and DJ. Welcome, man.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure for having me.
Yeah, so good to have you. And so, I was looking through your gram before you got here and just checking out some of the recent parties. Tell us about the renegade alien sighting party you just did.
Well, it's actually going on tonight.
Oh, it's tonight. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
tonight, so I'll have to get back to you on that. But it's going down tonight for like 30 minutes out of Joshua Tree.
Okay.
It's in Landers, and it's supposed to be on the spot called Goat Mountain, and guess it's like a famous UFO sighting spot. So
damn. I hope you see some shit.
Got a special playlist for that to try to bring out some aliens, see what's going on, kind of summon the vibes,
So are you driving out there right after this?
Yeah,
okay, because that's like a long, right? It's gonna be like 3 hours.
Drive or so with traffic. So the goal is after this, got to go home, pack my shit, and then.
Oh man, in the summer,
out there.
In the desert, it's gonna be like 90 or
it's gonna
plus
be
out there,
90
right?
at night.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like 105 right now during the day, so it's gonna be.
And are you guys? Is it just in and out, or is there?
Yeah, this one's gonna be in and out. Me
and
a selective response are gonna mob out there together, and then we're playing throughout the night until the morning, and then he's doing a yoga set, and we'll be heading out. Probably.
Oh wow! So there are people gonna be doing yoga. Okay, so it's like more spiritual vibes.
Yeah, I think it's a little more intimate of a party. It's on I think someone's actual property. So
got it. Yeah, I think I saw Orly Gal shout out on the lineup as well. She's been on the show.
Annika Wolf is playing the home.
Okay, yeah. She's also a resident with you, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a little resident party. It's me, Selective Response, and Annika, and we're all 6 a.m. residents. So
awesome. Cool. So I guess on that, what was the last party you played before tonight's party? I'm sure it was probably a 6 a.m.
Yeah,
one,
I think
right?
it was the Norbach party. At 6 a.m.
Okay.
And then I also played with Matrix Man before that.
I saw that. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, fucking fun parties, man.
Yeah.
They were both. Matrix Man's a little more groovier, so I got to do a little more on the groovy side in that one. And then Norbach is a little more mental.
Got it.
It's always fun to play different vibes,
Yeah, and how would you describe? Do you feel like your sound has a particular description or fits within a particular
it's
box?
Definitely. I feel like it's progressed, especially after COVID. Now I'm a little more up tempo and on a little more groovy on the side of things right now. But I still love my hypnotic heavy stuff. So it really depends who I'm playing with. Honestly, I like to just change it up. Next month, I'm playing a Boiler Room party with FaZe.
I saw that in Texas, right?
Yeah, in El Paso. Yeah. Super stoked on that one, and that will definitely be a little more of a heady mental vibe.
Yeah, because the stuff, I'd listened to some of your mixes, and I think you have some sets on YouTube, where there's video, and I would say sounded kind of raw hypnotic to me if you're going to go by sort of beatport genres. But so you're saying that's just one sort of aspect to it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to consider myself a bit versatile, but right now definitely the vibe that I've been on right now has been more stripped back, almost minimal, but still rolling. And I do a lot more stripped back tracks. So now my sets, I'm playing 3 or 4 tracks at a time, doing layering and stuff. Whereas before I was doing more of the drum coding melodic stuff, I guess, and that you can't layer as much stuff because there's so much going on.
Yeah, it's just one after the other.
I like to challenge myself more DJing now and just seeing what I can come up with on the fly, basically.
Super cool.
It's almost like using stems, just building something new.
I feel like it's particularly challenging too, unless you're using Tractor Ableton,
I'm
keep.
on CDJs, just going for it. There's something I like about CDJs, it just feels organic.
Yeah.
You have a thing that feels like a vinyl, it's not a vinyl, the jog wheel and stuff, and I don't really like to use a sync. I enjoy hearing something come off a little bit. I feel like there's something
there's
raw.
There's a rawness.
And you feel the human aspect of it is he's actually got to do something.
It's true. There's something to be said for perfection. And then, when I hear a guy who I know is playing on Tractor and every match is perfect, like that's okay with me.
Yeah.
But at the same
Nothing
time,
against it.
yeah.
But for me personally, I just like to like challenge myself.
Yeah.
I guess,
At the same time, I've listened to friends play like really sick vinyl sets, and maybe like, if occasionally you'll hear a little bit of the galloping or something, and it definitely adds some sort of like character.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh shit, like, are we gonna make it through this?
Yeah, it adds a little more drama.
All right, there we go.
Yeah,
Good. Like,
totally. There's like an element of drama.
Yeah.
And suspense. So, I wanted to ask, the work residency, the way that it was sort of advertised or like promoted is like it's this special program. So is there anything different about this residency versus a traditional residency that you might have with another promoter group?
I mean, I would say it's. I'm not sure exactly how other promoters do the residency, but I would say it's similar in the aspect of like, we're residents and we're guaranteed like a certain amount of gigs for the year, for the season, and things like that. So we're kind of like, you have a guaranteed amount of gigs that you're going to play with us throughout the year, but it's not like we're exclusive to them or anything like that. We can still play any gig in LA, and they're cool.
Got it. So there is a commitment to like, oh, you get X number of parties this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's super cool.
Kind of like guarantees you like you're on the team, and we'll put some gigs.
I think that is special, right? Because I feel like when you're a resident for maybe someone else, it's like you'll get the call when you get the call.
Yeah, you don't really know. So they are a little more on it. Where like they had a whole thing letting you know this is exactly like our expectations or like what you need to expect from us, and very upfront and straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that most impressed me about meeting with Gia and Marco is that they're very business minded, very, very organized.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to do what they're doing as consistently as they're doing it, you gotta have some sort of business plan and tack to keep it going and keep it flowing and make sure you're not like running to the ground.
I think and I think there are plenty of other promoters who are doing a fantastic job as well, but I think. Part of the reason why 6 a.m. and Synthetic Minds are right now, they're almost like synonymous with techno. I mean,
I agree.
Everyone knows Dirty Epic and Incognito as well, but you think about like techno at party in LA, like in 2022, and I think like 6 a.m. immediately comes to mind.
Absolutely.
And I think
head honchos right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is driven by. I mean, they're driven, ambitious dudes, but it's sort of that like business
they have a professionalism too, but it's like respectable. They're not doing it in like a strictly business mindset where like they just want to make money. They're doing it in
they love
a way to make it sustainable, to make sure the scene and culture can stay alive.
Yeah, because I mean, Gia came from a business background before 6 a.m., so he's applying those principles.
Exactly, and that's why I love working
something
with them,
he loves.
honestly, because I'm like since I've been a young age, like I was very focused on being sustainable and things like that. So we are very like co-relatable in that aspect, and that's why I love working with them.
Got it.
He's my manager pretty much. Shout out to Gia.
Okay, shout out. So I guess on that, how did you come to cultivate that relationship and then end up in this, very sort of enviable spot of being a resident for 6 a.m., right?
So I mean, it's been a long relationship in the making, basically. I want to say it was 2017, I believe. So I do Cognition events, which me, my buddy Brandon Hines, and John Mon, we all run that.
Okay,
and
so that's a party?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we started that, I believe, in 2016. And Brandon runs sound, and he runs H2 Audio. They have Rinkus Hines, and they do parties for they run the Observe parties sometimes, 6 a.m., all the different events. So it all started with our connection with them is they hired Brandon to do sound for Phase back in the day in 2017.
Okay.
And through that, we ended up doing sound with them more and more, and I never really told them I made music. I just, did our sound thing, and eventually just started talking it up, and eventually he found out I made music, and it was an organic relationship.
Super organic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, 5 years later, here we are.
Wow. So had you been working with them doing sound for that whole stretch of time?
We weren't doing every single gig, but we did probably every other month for a while. We were contracted with them, and then we started getting busy with our stuff and things, and then me and Brandon played our first 6 a.m. party. I want to say it was 2018 with Rebecca.
Okay.
And then from there, I just kind of had almost like a yearly booking with them.
Got it.
And then this year was the residency.
Got it. She actually, speaking of Rebecca, she's coming back. They're bringing her back soon, right? Tonight? Yeah.
Really like Compound.
Yeah,
tonight.
I thought I saw
Funnily
something.
enough, with FaZe as well, who was the
Okay.
first person
Okay.
that we did sound with them with.
And so,
It's a full circle moment going on.
yeah, there's a lot of synchronicity happening right now.
Absolutely.
You're just cultivating the vibe in advance of going out to meet the
Exactly.
aliens tonight. I was gonna say, so you're kind of firmly within the techno sound now. Where were you at, sort of in 2018?
I would say, I mean, I was still very techno, but I was producing more. Right now, I would say my sound is more like minimal and groovy, like I was saying. That you'll see I have releases coming out next month
Okay.
on 6am's new label. But before I was doing a little harder, I would say.
Okay.
A little harder techno with like a little more melodic stuff.
Okay, so like you were
little
saying, kind of a
ravier. I
little
would say,
more.
like, ravier.
Okay.
Ravier. Now I'm more stripped back and just like groovy, just like.
Okay.
It's like body music.
Would you consider that like kind of similar to the dialogue sound, or along those lines, or something?
No, not exactly
Okay.
the dialogue sound. Dialogue is still a little more like deep houser.
Okay,
Housey.
okay.
I was played like when I first started DJing, I was doing kind of the deeper sound with like Recondite back in the day
Okay,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And that was like initially what I was trying to do. And then as I started producing, just organically, I made harder stuff, and I just wasn't gonna fight the force. I was just, this is what's coming out, so I'm gonna change my DJ sets to what my productions are.
Right,
And that's
okay.
kind of been the ongoing progression of this
Okay.
entire thing, because I'm constantly trying new things, and as I'm growing in the studio, my sound and DJ sets are kind of growing as well with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I realize like sort of some of the questions can be limiting, right? Because as an artist, you evolve and you explore like so many
I don't
different.
like to pigeonhole myself. I'm always changing
Yeah.
it up. But I would say I was definitely more like on the big roomy ravier stuff before, and now I'm just more stripped back. I don't know if COVID did that to me, sitting in my house and not being in a big like setting where you hear these big tracks, and I was just at home and things that sounded better at home. I was like,
No, that's true. Yeah,
I'm gonna
like
make stuff that sounds good everywhere.
It's a different
now.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I often ask, all of my guests, where did the rave journey begin and the DJ journey begin? Like, give us that backstory.
So that was when I was like a sophomore in high school. So that was like 2010. 2010, I was
Okay.
like 15. It was like that summer going after the sophomore year. It was like EDC 2010, and half of the homies went to EDC, half of the homies stayed home.
Okay.
I was part of the homies that stayed home.
Oh, okay.
And that was like our first time taking acid. So like half of them were at EDC tripping, and half of us were at home. And then everyone came home after, told us everyone collabed and how crazy their experience was. And then after that, I went to Hard Summer, and that was my first rave. And
Okay.
that just changed my life.
Okay. Hard Summer, like 2011
Hard
ish.
Summer 2010.
Oh, 2010. Okay.
Yeah, it was like I was into dubstep back then.
Okay.
So it was like Scream, Banga, Caspa, Flying Lotus. Played.
Yeah, it wasn't much. I still haven't been to Hard, but I remember like their lineups have evolved quite a lot in the
They're
last
definitely
like 12 years.
They've got like hip hop stuff now. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, isn't like Megan Thee Stallion or something coming to Hard this year?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's like what I grew up on was the hard stuff, funnily enough. And I was like, I told myself I was never really going to go to Insomniac events until I played them or a friend was playing them. And I've stuck my oath to that.
Well,
But I've gone to them.
yeah, you played a online Insomniac thing,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, I did the after tracks online, and my buddy, shout out Brennan Gray, it's my brother. He's
Shout
played
out.
all the Insomniac events, so whenever he's playing, I'll go out there.
Got
show a
it.
Face.
But so you still haven't been to like an EDC or anything?
I have. He's played EDC.
Oh,
so
okay, okay.
I was just like, when I was younger, I was like, just being a little brat, I was like, I'm only going to hard events. I'm not gonna pay for the little, I don't know. It was just like, just being a little brat. It was like everyone was hyped on EDC and the candy stuff, and I was just a little rebel.
I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, I still haven't been to an EDC. So,
Really?
Well, I've just bought my tickets for 23.
It's honestly a great time. I went in 2018 was my first time, and compared to I went to Hard in 2010, and I stopped going in 2013.
Okay.
And I just got into the club scene and warehouses and all that. So, but after that, then I went to Insomniac, and I'll tell you the organizational standpoint. Insomniac has that on lock.
Of course.
It is insane how smooth it is getting into that venue.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, I see people complaining on Twitter, but I got in and out of that venue within like 30 minutes every day. No problem.
That's amazing. So I guess there's kind of a gap there though from hard summer vibes to techno.
Definitely.
So where did that transition take place?
So after I got out of high school, I got in some trouble with like a DUI and shit. And then that kind of like changed my perspective on a lot of things. Stopped partying for a while, and then I started meeting some friends from like the 805, Oxnard, Ventura, and stuff. And it's kind of how I know Annika Wolf. We started connecting, and I kind of started getting into house music. And from there, went to like the Dirty Bird parties, all that stuff. And then I went to Hard again, and they had like the camp out party at Hard one year. And then from there, just kept going down the pigeonhole, started getting into techno, went to ADE in 2018.
Oh shit, I'm going this year.
Oh, dude, you're gonna never be the same after that.
Okay.
Once I went to ADE, that like the entire like training wheels fell off, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm trying to do.
Okay, it sounds like that was the turning point. All right, so give me like some tips and pointers for ADE, because it's kind of like Winter Music Conference, right? Or Miami Music Week,
for me,
shit's all over town.
It's like that, and like for me, because I've gone to Burning Man as well. I went to Burning Man in 2015 was the first time I think I went, and I consider it, because my ADE experience was maybe different than others. I rented a bicycle, and I just rode bikes the entire time from venue to venue. Okay. So I was like, it was Burning Man in the city.
Was it you and like a crew, or
it was me and my buddy Lance, who does our lighting for Cognition events.
Just two of you guys.
Yeah, and then his girlfriend and a couple other friends.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of a crew. It was like 5 of us. Okay. But it was like 3 of us biking. Some people didn't want to do the whole bike experience the entire time.
So I want to hear about Burning Man, because I have also been. But but as far as ADE, right? Because I'm told, what I've heard is like the parties are all over the city.
Yeah, there's parties. So ADE is kind of like in canals. Okay. Amsterdam is like a canal thing, and then there's bar parties inside the canal area. Then like the big parties are all on the outskirts. So I mean, if you want to be more efficient with time, probably just get a taxi or Uber or whatever, and you can just Uber from place to place. But I was just living it up like a kid, riding bikes everywhere. And
did you feel like it was easy to get from party to party?
Yeah, I thought it was. It's pretty simple, honestly. Okay. And for me,
do you feel like you got to see everything?
Yeah, riding a bike. That's why I rode a bike, because I could like see everything. Like we got out of the party when the sun came up. We were just riding through the city. It was beautiful.
Okay. Absolutely. And then is it every day? Like, because
it starts on Monday and ends on Monday morning.
So it's Monday to Monday, and all 7 days there's like amazing shit.
Yeah, I would say the party is like, I think Awakenings and stuff starts on Thursday, I believe. But they have like smaller parties like from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday is when it starts really. Really going. Kind of the same as Burning Man. You know, they're building throughout the week.
Right.
then, it's weekend and things are going crazy.
And then there's actually there's a professional conference too. So did you do any of that?
I intended on it. I had my little badge and all.
Okay, so you bought the badge to try to do it.
I had the badge, but I didn't make it.
Yeah, I feel like after a few late nights, it's like how are you gonna sit in a panel?
My mornings were getting acai bowls at this delicious acai bowl spot, and like getting my days. I mean, we slept to like 3 or 4 every day, then got in a acai bowl and got back after the experience.
Dude.
Next time I go, I might do some conferences though.
And there's so many sort of competing European electronic events. How did you zero in on ADE for that?
So ADE kind of just happened because I think my buddy Lance was already planning on going, so I was just like, let's do it.
Got it.
And I did 3 weeks in Europe, so I did a week in Portugal, a week in Berlin, and then a week in Amsterdam.
Okay, sick.
And that was my first time in Europe. The first 2 weeks I was by myself. I just went by myself, and it was great, just going out into a new land, having no plan. No distractions, no one to like steer me a different way. I was just
solo travel is like a double-edged sword, because on the one hand you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like you don't have to answer to anyone. Like that's what I'm gonna do today. On the other, you're rolling solo.
Exactly. You just gotta figure it out. Yeah. But there's something beautiful about that.
Yeah, I agree.
You just see what happens.
I agree.
And you do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah,
which is fun.
I think there's like nothing that promotes sort of like self-love more than being able to like travel on your own and kind of just be with yourself.
Very, comfortable with yourself. Such a thing.
Yeah.
I stayed in a hostel and met the hostel people, and
that's sick.
Fun, good times. I'm trying to go out there as soon as possible.
Okay. Well, going this year if you want to join me and the fam. So
maybe, man. I'm trying to get some gigs out there. I was supposed to land something hopefully in the next couple months. So
okay.
That's the goal. And if I can do it around October, I might just see you out there.
Dude, yeah, let me know. So let's talk about Burning Man. So you said 2015?
Yeah, I believe it was 2015. My years are all mixed up because of COVID now, but I think it was 2015.
You would have been really young, right? Like,
yeah, I was a baby.
Okay, so like what?
It was the same year that the Eclipse gathering was going on in Oregon. I can't remember what year that was.
Okay.
I want to say it was 15 or 16 or
yeah.
One of those years, but yeah, I went, and so Brennan Gray, shouts out again, he told me, like, just come to Burning Man, and I was
Did you stay with his camp?
This time, my first time, I haven't stayed at his camp, but I did end up playing there a couple times, which is, he plays at Playground, Carl Cox's camp, and he got me in there, and I played a couple sets there, which was
sick. Dude. To be able to do that like 5 years out of high school or whatever it is, like,
I mean, a lot of things have happened that I feel like have grown up quick, I guess you can say. And I did when I was younger, I partied when I was younger. So now I'm at, I'm 28 now, but I feel like I'm older because I've just done a lot of things when I'm younger. So now I have my goals in line and just trying to make things happen.
Okay. But so when you went, did you like roll on your own then? You just camped by yourself?
I went by myself, but I stayed at this camp called Camp Juicy, which my buddy Matt, I forget his last name, Matt Whitmer, I think, or something like that. But he ran this camp called Camp Juicy, who my buddy Luke, who used to be a part of Cognition, but he lives in Florida now, so he's just doing his thing. But he actually had an extra ticket, so I ended up going with his camp and just went out there. Figured it was his first time going out there. We figured it out. We camped in a tent. It was like the hottest year, one of the hottest years at Burning Man. It was like 115 the entire week. Like it was a sweat.
I mean, it's harsh out there. Like it's
but that's like part of the experience. You got to go through the trenches to appreciate it in a sense.
Yeah, it's like very low lows in terms of like the discomfort and very high highs in terms of like
it was like my New Year's, honestly, because it's just like a reset. You go there for a week. Everyone's there for the same reason.
Right.
You go out there, just see the most crazy art installations, amazing people. Come home and you're just like on this high driven energy and just ready to go.
So have you been back since?
Yeah, so last year was 2019.
Okay, I was there too. That was actually my first time.
Okay.
Are you going this year?
I'm not.
Okay.
I was planning on going to Europe that week, but instead the Boiler Room gig happened.
Okay.
So, gotta do what I gotta do.
I mean, that's. I feel like that's a pretty good party to get on your resume, right?
Exactly.
So, I guess one thing we haven't touched on yet is so where did the DJing begin, and the producing?
Mm-hmm. So, when we were in high school, when we were like being little rave kids, like my homies were doing light shows in the backyard and stuff. And we were like doing ecstasy, all that stuff, and we were always listening to the dubstep. And we downloaded Fruity Loops when I was 15. But we never took the time to actually do it full time. So I fucked around, did whatever, but nothing really came out of it. And then when I was 19, we started DJing like parties. We did like desert parties and stuff like that. And I just kind of kept wanting to do more with it. And I wanted to play my own music during my sets. So I was just like, screw it, I'm by Ableton. Got Ableton Push with the Ableton Live Suite. And I think after that I quit my job for about 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
I just went full time.
Oh, sick.
Straight diving into music, and that was
Would you mind pointing that at yourself a little more?
Yeah. Is that better?
Man, so you've been at it like literally since high school then. So sort of cultivating your craft over decade.
And I've always just been a music head since I was younger.
Okay.
Like when I was probably like 7 years old, my cousin, she got me into hip hop at an early age. She was listening to like Chingy and all that shit.
Right.
And then I was just always digging for music, and then as it kept going, I was like, I'm gonna start DJing this stuff. And as you start DJing, you want to have your own music in there, and down the rabbit hole you go.
Wait, so do you still fuck with FL Studio or?
No, I'm on Ableton. Okay. I never actually learned the full ropes of FL. I did it in high school.
Got it.
Then once I started going full time, I just had Ableton. And that's my baby now.
Got it. Because FL, Ableton, and I feel like Logic, those are kind of the big three, right?
Yeah,
the big three DAWs.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then for like hip hop, they use, I forget what this thing's called. Drawing a blank right now.
It's not FL. It's something else.
No, there's one that connects all the different DAWs together.
Okay.
But I drawn a blank on it.
Okay. I remember like when I was like coming up, like Reason was a big one. I don't know if that's still
Scream,
around.
Like,
Okay.
Scream started out on like Reason and stuff. I never actually downloaded Reason. I have some friends that use it though.
Yeah, I remember like I fucked around with that, and like there was one called like Acid. I think it was called Acid Loops or something like that.
Really, there was the DAW called that?
Yeah, huh. I think so.
Was it just like, for acid?
May as well have been. But yeah, that was a minute ago.
Yeah.
But did you start when you started? Were you making dubstep shit?
No, when I started, I was pretty much making techno.
Okay.
Yeah, I've still intended on like going back and trying to make some dubstep just for the nostalgic feeling, but I haven't done it. I actually this year started making hip hop beats.
Okay.
So if there's any rappers out there, hit me up. I got some beats.
Oh, sick! Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been a hip hop head. So this year I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put some time aside. I've gotten comfortable with making like techno, and I kind of felt a little burnt out at one point, and so I was like, I need to try something different. And it's been fun to do it like once a week. Me and my friend get together and make a couple beats.
Jam.
Yeah, pretty much. Make a couple beats within a couple hours, and then keep it moving.
Does anyone ever like rent time in the fancy studio these days to make electronic music, or is that only like what rock and roll people do and shit?
I think that's for like live stuff.
Yeah, like live people.
I mean, there's like Icon Music Collective, which like people pay to go to school, which they get studio time for.
Right.
And I have a handful of friends that have done that.
Okay.
I feel like it's just easier to do at home. I did everything at home. I never went to school for it. I just did it learning through friends, and that's pretty much it. Working with, like, collaborating with people and YouTube videos.
Right.
Doing, if you want to do one-on-one courses, you can hit people up, DM them, ask for a master class.
Right.
People will do it. And I think that's, for me, I've always been like organic. I need to like be hands-on with things. I'm not like good at reading a book and just figuring it out that way. I need to just play with it.
Yeah, so I think it's funny because like for a scene that's known so much for its party, I feel like the actual production of the music in our scene is mostly just people like at home in their studios, whereas like other genres, even if it's a country, right, any kind of live music, they're like partying in the studio.
They got a whole little vibe going on.
Yeah. Like I had someone on.
Sometimes it happens, Sometimes some friends will pop by.
That's true.
You'll have a little vibe, just you're just feeding off their energy in the room and stuff. But I've heard, definitely more introverted. Yeah,
I've heard stories that like the real like place where you go, like the rooms get wrecked, and there's like groupies in there, and like all kinds of crazy shit happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like we party, but I feel like as a community, we're also like a little more well behaved. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just, I don't know. It's kind of like we try to party in an adult form.
Yeah.
Try to like have our shit together. We have a good time, but we're not gonna we're gonna be respectful.
Yeah, because Plur is still like such a guiding principle, right, for everyone.
Like, having a good vibe.
Yeah.
Not disrupting anyone else's energy.
Yeah.
So just being there for the music.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, enjoying yourself in a respectful, like loving way.
Not getting too fucked up in whatever way to where you're disrupting someone else's vibe because you're looking a little messy.
100%. I agree with that. So, wanted to ask you kind of, you're an emerging artist. Like what is it like? Do you have a manager? So is Gia your full manager?
Gia, okay. I mean, he's like my indirect manager. I have people go to him for bookings and stuff, but I also handle my own. So
you handle your own. So like, for instance, like Boiler Room, how did that come to you?
That was through myself, through the promoters in El Paso who I've played with before. So it's like kind of a give and take thing. Like if he gets me a gig, then he gets me a gig and we work it out that way. Or if I get my own gig, then I just get it myself. So
Got it.
It's not like an exclusive, he's my manager and handles everything. We just work through it whatever way.
Okay. And this is all just born out from the fact that, you've been a contributor to the community for so long through your own parties.
Yeah, and just
sound.
working together. And then we did Grounded. I don't know if you know what Grounded was. We did Grounded, which was kind of every Thursday. It was like one Thursday a month before COVID. We did a thing at Catch one.
Okay.
And we also did it at a couple different bar settings. We were like hopping around different spots.
Okay.
And it was basically a thing on Thursdays where people would come together, and we like kind of did interviews with sound people, DJs, and just brought people together so they can network and stuff like that.
Got it.
So through that, and then Gia started launching this thing called Artist Map, which he does for artists and kind of give them a program on like kind of a route to go and the right things to do to kind of get to where you want to be.
Oh yeah. How does that work? Is that like a class that he's
Yeah,
teaching?
it's online. It's an online class thing.
Okay.
It's almost like in a book format where you kind of.
So it's like videos that are like on demand type
I
thing?
think it's text, like PDFs.
Okay.
But it's kind of just like giving you guidelines and step by step on like different ways to go and kind of navigate throughout the industry. So through that, like when he was building that, me and some other people, some of the residents that are the residents now, he kind of like talked to us and got our feedback on things because we were doing the same. We were like the phase 2 is what he calls, which is like kind of emerging. You're not like at the breakthrough level, but you're doing something. So he was trying to get our feedback on that so we can write that phase. And
Got it.
through that, he was like, well, you know, you guys have helped us in this way, so I'll help you get gigs as well.
Awesome. Shout out to Artist Map for all of the aspiring DJ producers out there. You know, like I follow Gia and Marco on the gram, and I saw recently they did like a kind of like Ask Me Anything, and I want to say like half of the questions were like, how do I become a resident for you? How do I get more gigs? So yeah, check out Artist Map and check out what Stephen has to say here in terms
Stay
of
consistent.
yeah.
That's what it is.
I think you just have to be out. You have to be there. You know, be present, right?
Yeah, you gotta show face. You gotta. I mean, it's not easy in this day and age. You got to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still trying to figure it out myself, to be completely honest. But I mean, I've kind of got a grasp on things. Just do your work on your music, and if you really want to, like, this all depends on what you want at the end of the day. But for me, I'm more of an organic approach. So I work on my music. I'm planning a label next year. I'm starting to get all my eggs in a basket to kind of just build things from the ground up now, because I've done the label releases, so now I'm going to do my own label. And yeah, just staying consistent, making sure you have things planned, set goals for the year, and try to hit those goals, and don't let things distract you at the end of the day. It's a matter of showing face, but don't make showing face like distract you from getting shit done.
Oh, dude.
You know?
Wise.
It's a hard balance.
Wise words. Wise words. So anyway, another question for you, man. You know, you're talking about, you know, showing up, suiting up and showing up, but also kind of taking care of your shit at the same time.
It's just a lot of discipline is ultimately.
So I was going to say, like, how do you manage that, right? Because, you know, you have an actual job, as many artists in the scene do.
Absolutely.
At the same time, you know, you're pushing yourself as an artist, you're producing music. Sometimes you're throwing events. So like, how do you balance all of this?
It's a constant rebalancing process. You know, I have a girlfriend too, so that takes up time.
Oh yeah, I mean, relationship, dude.
But I mean, you know, I kind of have somewhat of a schedule. You know, I work Monday through Friday for my full-time job sometimes, but I also do my other film job, which sometimes is on the weekends. So sometimes I work 60-hour work weeks, but I'm still gonna put at least a couple days or at least a day in the week to the studio, which is usually during my work week. So Monday through Friday is work. I try to get a studio day Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. And I'm pretty quick in the studio at this point because I've just been doing it for so long. I know exactly like the things that I want to do. So I've gotten my flow down to where I can get a track done in a day or two. So I'm content with getting a couple tracks done.
A day or two, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've kind of got my process done now where I work Monday through Friday. Sometimes on the weekends I'll make music. Sometimes I'll do it during the week. It kind of depends on my other film job schedule because I'm always doing something. And then I try to have the weekend at nights. So I kind of have like a rewarding process. If I want to go out, I got to do something during the day.
Okay.
So I can be productive. If I want to go out tonight, I'm going to like go through my promos today, try to make a track, get some ideas done, so it feels like I deserve to go out.
Right.
And then I also go out, but I try to make it to where I'm not going to feel like shit the next day. So, you know, drink water, don't party too hard, so the next day I can have inspiration off going out to where I can get a track done.
Right.
Something like that. You know, there's always different processes, but it's always, for me, like going out, in this day and age I do it almost in like a homework sense. Like I'm studying when I'm on the dance floor. Like I'm feeling the music, and I'm kind of translating it into something that I might make into a track later. Inspirational.
I feel like your balanced approach to things is sort of very enviable, and definitely, I think, in line with the philosophy of work in 6 a.m. itself, right? You know, I've heard Gia talk about, you know, like if you know, the idea is like partying is supposed to be like a release and a reward for what you did in the week.
Exactly.
If all you're doing is partying, then what are you celebrating?
Exactly. You got to have a reward factor because you want to enjoy the party, not get lost in the party.
Yeah.
You know?
Which can happen, right? I think anyone who's been in the scene.
It's happened to me before.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't doubt it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, it's just when you find yourself in that position, take a step back, get your shit together again.
100%.
If you need to.
Do you know Ray Cash?
I know him, but
Okay.
we're not like,
Okay.
I haven't had chopped it up too much.
Yeah, he used to throw Temple Tuesday before he moved to Barcelona. But yeah, he had a similar viewpoint when he was talking about, you know, how easy it is for all of us, you know, to kind of get lost in the party and kind of like lose ourselves. And we've seen those people who just are so far gone.
Absolutely.
You know, they're like out every weekend, but you know, their lives are like in shambles. And yeah, it just underscores the importance of
You gotta have the balance.
Yeah.
It's all balance. Life is all balance in general.
So, I mean, speaking to that, I mean, it sounds like with everything you're doing, it seems like your sleep is likely to take a big hit.
I mean,
like,
that's
how do you?
definitely been. If I look at
how do you
my
manage
phone
to
right
that?
now, I'd say my average sleep is like 5 hours of sleep.
I mean, ouch, man.
And the best part of all is my Monday through Friday job. I work at 6 a.m. So, you know, if I'm going out on a Friday, I'm going to be up from 6 a.m. to possibly 6 a.m.
Fuck.
And Sundays are my sleep day. I have like at least one day a week where I need to try to sleep all day.
I mean, so that's the thing, you know, like, I think people think about rave and the people in rave as just like hard partiers, but it takes like a tremendous amount of not only discipline, but I feel like endurance.
It's not even the partying. Like, even if I'm not partying,
like,
everything else I'm doing, you know, with work and everything else and trying to get in the studio and this and that, my sleep schedule's not in order. So adding that on top, it's just...
Right.
But my brain has gotten used to it after so long, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or bad thing, but I'm adapted to it. So now if I get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, I wake up and we're back at it.
I mean, because I feel like part of the reason why I do this instead of like, you know, pour my energy into trying to be like a DJ or producer is that, you know, with the full-time job and the need for sleep, like for me personally, like there's just no way that I can like live on, you know, 4 or 5 hours. But people do, like, you know, you're definitely stronger constitution than me. A lot of the folks that I have on, similar situation, you know, carrying careers, full-time jobs, etc., and yet still like making the time to go out on a Tuesday night, you know, to like show face at a party.
Way to get by.
I know.
You gotta get by
like
somehow.
People out there going to like Taco Tuesday or some shit, and I'm like, wait, how do you do that? How do you do that? You know, like back in the day, there used to be a party called Monday Night Social. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I used to go there every Monday. Me and my buddy always went to Monday Night Social, and he was the drinker, and like, so I was the driver. So we'd go at 10 and he'd drink that whole hour, get all wasted, and then we'd stay there till 4 a.m. and it was a good time.
I feel like Monday Night Social felt manageable, you know, like
for me it was manageable because at the time I wasn't working the job that I have now where I have to be up at 6 a.m. I think I was working at a restaurant at that time, and I did like the night shift.
But it kind of started early enough, I feel like, where like you could bounce early and still like get a full night of sleep.
Yeah.
Some of these other, you know, and I gotta admit I should go, but I still have not been. But like Clinic on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like doors at 10, you know, ends at like 2 or 3. Like, dude, like
I feel you,
like
man.
Wednesday.
I feel you. The last time I went to Clinic was like before COVID.
Okay.
I think.
But it's for the heads and like the industry folks, you know, like
absolutely.
And you know, like Temple Tuesday was like another one of those types of parties. I think now we have like Blind Tiger,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say that Blind Tiger's been doing a lot of stuff as well.
Though like a lot of that is like industry people, right? So people who like work in nightlife.
Yeah.
Speaking of, and this is just like a total side note, so forgive me here, but I was chatting with some folks at an event maybe a couple weeks ago, and they were like bartenders who just got out of work, and they were talking about, have you heard of this party called Overpass?
I haven't heard of it. Have you?
They were talking about. Oh, I just blew it up. Sorry. It's like a secret underground. Well, I don't know where it is, so it's secret underground somewhere in LA, geared toward like industry, like bartenders, etc.
Interesting.
So it starts at Saturdays, like at 3 or 4 in the morning. And then goes after and goes till like 11 or 12, 11 in the morning or noon or something.
I almost think I might know where it could be at.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say.
Okay, yeah, we don't need to blow it up.
Keep that disclosed.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it on the DL. But I was like that. I mean, obviously there are all kinds of afters.
There's
happening,
like one spot that I think that I know that does afters like that.
But they were telling me like this is like it's a huge party. Like every bartender, in downtown in Hollywood, like goes to this party and hangs out there. I was told that the vibe is very much. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie from back in the day, like the original like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Where like Shredder has like his lair in New York City or something. He's like, yeah, it kind of feels like that.
That sounds like a good time.
It sounds like a good time. Yeah, I would check it out.
Yeah.
I would check it out. Maybe next time I'm coming out from like an actual rave, from a compound or something.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of, so there's compound. I mean, there's always shit with 6 a.m. Isn't Reform coming up soon too? I think
it's in August.
Are you involved with that one?
I'm not playing this one. I played the last one.
Okay.
But it's gonna be a good one. Go to Reform. I'll probably be there.
Reform is great. It's not gonna be a Couch One this time though, right?
No, they're doing it at a new venue, which I am personally stoked about. Because
is it that like studios, something studios?
Something studios, and it's by LAX.
Okay, yeah.
Which for me, I'm in the South Bay, so it's 10 minutes from my crib. I'll be there.
I went to a subculture party at that venue maybe a month ago. I mean, we're right here in like the east side of LA, near Pasadena, and I feel like definitely not a fan.
This time it's on my side.
Yeah, right. Because like almost every other event is either in downtown or
like
if you're going to the club, or like Hollywood if you're going to like Sound or something. Mm-hmm. Although, like, I haven't been to some shit at like Sound or Avalon in a really long time.
Same, man. Same.
But I feel like
we used to do stuff at the Avalon with Cognition. We had Pig and Dan and Julie and Joel there.
Dude, love them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fucking crazy party.
Wait, you threw that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like one of the bigger nights Avalon had in a while too. It was a good one.
Dude, I mean, like you're like super young. Like, I mean, I feel like that's like a lot to accomplish. And you're talking about like this being years ago.
Yeah, I think that was 2017 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because so John Munn, who was with Cognition, he was a resident at the Avalon probably like 10 years ago.
Okay.
So him and Brandon are like probably 5-6 years older than me, so they had a little bit of an earlier start than I did. So they had the residencies already, and through that, we had the connection with the Avalon and was throwing parties with the Control Fridays. Was what we were doing.
I remember Control Fridays.
Yep.
Yeah. It was like more like I remember when it first started. It was a little more of like an electro vibe. Mm-hmm. They brought out.
They've tried it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were doing the techno side of it because they were doing like more housey stuff and they were doing bass house. And then we were like, yeah, let's do like a techno night. And that first one was fucking crazy.
Avalon is still, I mean, I haven't been in years, but in my opinion, to this day, still one of the best venues.
I agree. It sounds really nice. It's a great venue. It just, for some reason, doesn't get the attention it deserves.
Yeah, well, because like I feel like the crowd is a little weird.
I mean, it's 19 plus.
Yeah.
So that definitely adds the something youthfulness to it, I guess.
Yeah. And then I feel like after a certain hour, it's like a whole different crowd. Mm-hmm. But
then they do like the Bordeaux sometimes afters and stuff.
Yeah. It's like, so I haven't seen this in years either. I wonder if they're still around. But like the old like Asians who like to rave, they were like
they were always at the Avalon.
They were always at the Avalon. Like I don't know if they're still there or not.
Have to peep through, see what's going on.
Yeah. I mean that shit is so wild.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like my great auntie. Like
it's true, man. It's super true.
I was at a party one time and there was a grip of the old Asian ravers and one of them was in a wheelchair and he was
that's dedication.
Yeah, he was clearly like just like tripping or rolling balls or whatever and they just parked him right in front of the speaker
Did they give this man some earplugs?
And just like left him there. And it looked like he was loving it, but
protect your ears.
Yeah,
Earplugs.
it's like, man, like this crew is like really hardcore. Like it's like they're just gonna leave the guy in front of the speaker.
That's hilarious.
I haven't seen that in years. I wonder if it still exists at Avalon. If anyone knows, tell us in the comments. Because I haven't, like, I check RA like every other day. I can't even remember seeing any like events.
I couldn't either. I couldn't tell
Right?
you.
I couldn't tell you.
I think the last thing I saw was Sound does some of their after parties.
Oh, they do?
Avalon now. Like
Okay.
they had a Framework day party recently, and I think they
Okay.
did the after party there. But I think it was Gorgon City. Gorgon City played
Okay.
like a day party, and then they did the afters at the Avalon. But if Sound's not throwing it, I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, me neither. But it's shout out to one of the best venues in
shout
LA.
out to Avalon.
Yeah, in terms of like sound quality, their visuals were always like on point.
Yeah, it was a great venue, spacious venue.
Yeah, I feel like you were never like fighting to like use the restroom or anything. You ever been to New York?
I plan to go to New York.
Okay.
Soon. That was
Okay.
on my list. I want to check out the basement parties in New York.
Okay, yeah, Basement I heard
It's
is
nuts.
insanity. I heard it's like Berghain vibes, like up the wazoo. I was just there for the 4th of July, and I saw for the second time Brooklyn Mirage,
Nice.
which like similar to Avalon is sort of one of the best venues I've ever seen. So
It's indoors, outdoors?
it's both. So the main stage is outside. It has very similar to the Avalon configuration in that the upstairs is fully open. It's not like closed off to VIP or anything. And anyone can just like go up, sit, come down. And then in addition to the outdoor stage, there's maybe 2 or 3 inside stages.
Damn, it's a big venue.
It's huge. It's huge. And it's like the level of infrastructure is like festival level, right? So they have like a whole food court that's like,
Damn.
yeah, you want like salad, banh
It's like going to
mis.
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's like going to like I want to say I would liken it to going to like the Greek or the Hollywood Bowl, except that it's open till 6, 7 in the morning and you can
That
rave
sounds
there.
dope.
Like I don't think I've ever been. I've never been to like a rave at the Hollywood Bowl, right? Or the Greek. Like
Same.
it's like those venues are, they're like held off for
Yeah.
Drake and like big names, right? But in New York in this other venue, it's like that caliber, but you can go
New York's
see
crazy.
Carl
Their scene is
Cox.
crazy out there.
Yeah.
That's definitely been on my list since like a few years ago. I'm like, I need to go see what's going on.
I mean, you're like super plugged in guy. I feel like you could just drop in there with your USB and be like,
Yep,
yo.
we'll see what happens.
Yo.
I'm trying to do that. Shout me out if anyone's trying to get me. Hit up Gia. Slide in the DMs.
Yeah, like hit up Stephen if you're out there in New York. Set it up. Excellent hypnotic techno, and now more of a housey vibe.
A little groovy,
So what's on kind of the near term docket for you? I know you said Boiler Room.
I got a
like
lot.
what else you got?
I've been kind of the beginning of this year. I was a little slow with plans and things, so I've just been working a lot on my releases that are coming. So I have a release next month on 6 a.m.'s new label.
Okay.
It's called Synthetic Sounds.
Okay. So is that with Marco as well? Okay.
Yeah, correct. So it's gonna be with Marco, and then this guy Asilo. He's from Asia. He's also helping with the labels, so I'm in contact with him. That comes out next month, and then I have the Boiler Room party. I'm actually also going to be playing for Vancouver in my first time next month, so stoked on that. And that is going to be a label night for my label that I'm going to be launching next year. It's called Conundrum Records. Planning to launch the label in like March, so that's kind of my big focus is getting that all online, and I have vinyl releases and the whole package. So that's been my big focus. And then I have another release coming on Liberta Records, which is Vinicius Honorio's label. And trying to plan some other possible out of the country gigs this year, which are up in the air. So I'm not.
Have you done the Mexico thing yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I've talked with some people out there, so everything's in the talks, but it's not confirmed. So
it seems like a kind of a rite of passage for LA DJs to do like Mexico.
It's right there.
Gigs. Yeah, it's like right there.
It's like your neighbor. You gotta go see what's
Yeah,
going.
you just drop down with your USB
Exactly.
and play and come back. In terms of the release stuff, in terms of your career as a producer, how are you navigating getting it out there? Like, how do you get your music onto Beatport, onto Spotify, onto iTunes, etc.?
When I was first figuring that out, my first approach was getting on other labels. So sending stuff out, it's all doing your homework, going on Google. If you like a record label, go on Google, search in that record label name and search demo email. And if you'll find the demo email them.
You send the demo.
You just send your emails out. Just got to cold email people and shoot your shot and hope something happens out of it. And don't get discouraged if it doesn't, because 99% of the time happens to me too.
Yeah, you got to have a thick skin.
So you just got to keep doing it. And, someone might buy it eventually. And if not, there's also the route now, which you can start your own.
Right.
And that's the great thing about the day and age we are, is where you can have the organic approach. And I'm just starting to do that now after doing the outside label stuff. And I'm still working with other labels like 6am and stuff. But now I'm trying to kind of hone my own thing, which I have friends like Annika. She started her own label route when she first started. And it's kind of like funny seeing our different routes. And we're both doing our thing in different ways. And we're both still doing successful things. So any way can work. It just takes the dedication and consistency in doing it, so
right.
I would say it's ultimately depends on how you want to do it. You can start your own label and self-release, and the only harder part, I guess, is that way is you don't have the immediate connections those labels might have to get it into the hands of said DJ and things like that.
So then I guess like with your own label, like how does it work in terms of like, do you have to reach out to some person at Beatport?
So there's distribution companies that you work with.
Okay.
So I'm working with a European distribution called Triple Vision.
And so that means they're probably taking a little bit of a fee off of everything you sell, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
They take a percentage and you have to pay them for promo and put it on.
And is that negotiable, or are they just like, this is what it is?
It's pretty flat rated.
Okay.
Most part, yeah. Okay. And then same with like vinyl, you got to figure out distribution for that. I've been learning all of that, which is like a whole nother can of worms.
Right.
That, before it was easier when you just send it off to the label and, get it mastered, handle all my stuff.
Right.
And then I'll just wait for the release date and then I'll promo. Now I got to get all megs, got to get the artwork.
I was going to say, I was talking to someone who was on here, Baz. He was saying that it took him like a year just to find the artwork for
honestly, that was the first thing that I did was artwork, because I was like, I know this is going to be the hardest thing to get done is artwork, just because getting that vision for art and to fit the vision of your label is probably one of the most biggest and hardest things to get if you want to get it right.
Okay.
So that was the first thing that I did. Once I got that, then I moved forward with everything else. And now I got the ball kind of rolling.
Because the artwork is like totally the aesthetic of your vibe.
Exactly. It's the aesthetic of the brand right there.
It's the aesthetic of the brand. It's like, it's the first immediately noticeable marketing, right?
Yeah, that's kind of telling the story of what your label is gonna kind of have in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure I've like skipped over so many good tracks in Beatport because the artwork didn't vibe right.
Keep going.
Right.
If you see something that's kind of catchy, you're like, oh, what? Even you might know the label, might not know the artist, but hey, it looks cool, so let's click it.
Yeah, something looks interesting. You're like, oh, let me see what their sound is.
Exactly.
I think same goes for parties too, right? Like it's like
that's true.
Getting your flyer
that's
right.
Always our first thing with the parties too. Once artists are locked in. Flyer now. Get that locked in, and then we'll get everything.
Because I've seen like good lineups with a bad flyer, and it makes me less likely to go to the party
because it doesn't look as professional.
Sense, it's like, oh well, it almost makes you feel like, okay, well, if they're not so like particular about curating their flyer vibe, how are they going to be? How are they going to be about curating the party vibe?
If that's messy, how is that going to be?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And like I feel like less recently because the scene has gotten so advanced lately. I
feel like everyone's been doing really good with how people have been marketing things.
Yeah.
Like I don't honestly shout at everyone doing parties out here. There's a lot of different parties going on, and everyone's doing their thing.
But I definitely feel like historically it's been like, wait a second. Like I remember, like I used to live in New York, and I saw Sasha on a lineup.
Nice.
But it wasn't like a big flyer. It was just like on the venue's website, and it was just like in text, right? So like no like marketing or flyer around it. So I was like, dude, like this is New York City, right? So like there is a chance that I show up to this party and it's like Sasha, like the Russian dude from Brooklyn.
It's a local DJ.
Yeah. It's like local Sasha from Brooklyn.
Hey, you never know. You really never know.
But it actually turned out to be him.
Nice.
I was like, yo, like if you guys had just like put in a little more effort on the flyer, it would have been like,
yeah, you could have maybe pushed a little more with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like more people would have shown up, but maybe that was the point, right? To like keep it a little more.
Everyone kind of has their different routes, I guess, and some people don't necessarily care to put it out there like that and want it to be more intimate. You know?
Yeah.
Like some people throw parties wanting it to be a more intimate, just like a heady party, I guess, so they don't really care to get as much push.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Like that basement party, I think we were just talking about. Like, absolutely. I don't think they don't put out like a lot. And
they don't do much.
Burgoyne probably doesn't put out flyers, right?
They just know you're gonna look. You want to go.
Yeah. You're gonna wait in line. You're gonna wait in line anyway.
That's right. I tried going to Burgoyne. I got denied.
Did you? Yeah. Oh yeah. So when you were in Berlin, like what did you do? What'd you do instead? Like Watergate or some shit?
So that night we were at a house party.
Okay.
I DJ'd like a house party the night of, and then it was like 6 a.m. Sunday after we were partying all night. So I already kind of like had an idea, like we might not get into it. Right. Because like we've been partying, probably don't look like in the best shape, you know. So we're just gonna try it anyways. So we went. It was me and my buddy Osama. He's a DJ and producer as well. And so we went there, tried it once, and they were like, no. And we're like, all right, we're gonna wait like an hour. We're gonna go, because I was texting like the homegirl who was inside, who my friend put me in touch with, who lives out there, and she was like, oh, like they're gonna do a changeover with the staff in like the next hour, so just try again. So we sit out there, wait, get in line. Still no. And then we're like, man, like what the hell? And then she's like, just try one more time. Try one more time. They're like sick of us. They're like no. Then they're like about to leave. And my friend runs into his coworkers who are going. So he's like, all right, we're going to try one more time, but we're going to try separate. So we try. I get denied and he gets in.
Oh shit!
I was staying at his apartment. So fuck.
What were you guys wearing? Like, do you think that had anything to do with it?
I was looking like an LA boy with like. I was just wearing a little hoodie, like. Okay. I was not looking the part.
Do you feel like there's like a certain dress code you're supposed to have?
I absolutely think that was a big factor. I was like, we could go home and change and probably get in, but we just didn't do it. So. Tried, and he got in, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try one more time. If not, just give me your keys to the apartment. And I'm gonna go home, and I got denied. So I went home, took a nap while he enjoyed Burgheim, because he was actually moving out of Berlin back to the Netherlands that next weekend. So I was like, you need to enjoy it for the both of us.
Yeah.
So he did that, and I got a nap,
I mean, you'll be back to Europe, I'm sure.
Exactly. I went to Watergate. I went to this place, Ritterbutzky. Went to Trezor.
Okay.
So that was the only thing.
Trezor is like no joke either.
Yeah, it was fucking dope. So I'm not mad because it gives me something that I haven't done yet when I go again.
Right.
So I can't get all of it in one.
Right. Weekend, still something to scratch off the bucket list, right?
Can't spoil it all.
Yeah. Plus, if you go back for ADE, right, you can just hop over to Berlin at some point.
That's why I took the train.
Yeah, super short, right? I feel like from Amsterdam, you can take the train to so many places.
2 or 3 hour train ride. Yeah, or something like
I think it's a 4 hour train ride to London. Like you can literally go anywhere in Europe. You take the train to London? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it goes underwater.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's like a tunnel or something. But with the last couple minutes we have left, I didn't ask you yet on who are your musical influences and what kind of informs your aesthetic.
There's so many people that influenced me, especially like over the years. Like I said, Rakonda, it was kind of my first little love with techno and the production side when I first really focused on it, and then. Brennan Graves, he's just been a huge mentor for me as far as now.
He's playing
at Academy today, actually.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Is he doing Revolt, or he did Revolt? He do the last, not Reform.
Reform, yeah. He did the last Reform.
Yeah,
me and him both played it.
That's right.
Yeah. And he's playing actually Academy today. But yeah, he helped me a lot in the early days of production, and we still talk it up to this day, almost like every day. Then as things have gone down the rabbit hole more, Satoic Mass has been a huge influence on me. Now, since COVID, a lot of these younger cats who are making crazy music in Europe, this guy, Rene Wise.
Oh, yeah.
He's on fire. Arthur Robert, who helped me do some mentorship classes.
Rene Wise, 6 a.m. brought him, right? It was their kind of progressive, hypnotic night.
So it was Operandi and 6 a.m., which I'm a part of Operandi's event. So we actually booked Rene last year.
Okay.
We were going to bring him out last summer.
Okay.
But COVID happened,
so
we had to push it back, and then it ended up working out for the best because we ended up pushing it back and we collabed with 6 a.m. on it, and it was an amazing night.
Operandi, I've been trying to get Modus on. If you see him, like, tell him.
I'll call him after this.
Yeah.
You need to get on there.
Yo, what's up, Josh?
Yeah, Josh. Get on the pod.
Yeah, like I feel like we were initially chatting, but you know, I get he's busy. But if you see him,
I'll drop a little bomb on him.
And yeah, like, are there any other sort of locals, you know, kind of at your level who are kind of gigging regularly that you like really, really appreciate and respect?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of homies. Like I said, Annika Wolf, she's the homegirl that's been doing it since like we kind of came up together. EOS, my friend Manny, he's been crushing it in like the hard techno side of things. Selective Response, he's crushing it. Lindsay Herbert, she's doing a lot of things right now. She's actually about to move out of LA. Man, who am I forgetting?
There's a lot, right?
Yeah, there's so many people
like,
doing things right now. It's a healthy scene.
It is a really healthy scene.
Yeah, but those are like the homies that, you know, I'm in touch with pretty regularly out here. And I talk to a lot of people overseas all the time. I'm always chopping it up, but
it's really cool to see kind of the generational shift. Because, you know, I would say like, this is kind of like the 2020 crew. I feel like the 2010s crew was like Droog. Do you remember them?
Absolutely.
You know, like there's a guy Clovis, but yeah, it kind of like shifts over time. And it's cool to see. You know, the sound is definitely different. You know, like I feel like the sound that was most prevalent in LA when I was kind of partying the most was very progressive, and I've talked about this on the show. You know, like very like Sasha and Digweed influenced.
Yeah, that's what we were all listening to like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, and now, you know, 2022, completely different vibe. Like the BPMs are...
Tempos are up.
Yeah, the tempos are up. The vibe is much harder, much more like... We were sitting at home the entire time.
We needed some upbeat tempos to keep the body going.
Yeah.
We're gonna do stagnant.
I also think like it's kind of a darker, heavier sound because the times are darker and heavier.
Absolutely. I've been like in this like little in between because I mean, my sound is so versatile, but some of my productions almost feel lighter in a sense, which like I feel like is like the contrast from everything else that's going on. I don't know if it's just me trying to not do the thing that everyone else is doing or something like that, just subconsciously. I'm always trying to like think outside the box.
Yeah, you're like, shit's getting a little too fast. Let's dial it back a little bit, right? It's getting a little too dark. Let's add a little more.
I'm always trying to like change it up and not like hold myself in what everyone's doing.
I mean, that's definitely like the way I feel like the sound has evolved over time, where like, you know, things kind of gain in popularity and then there's sort of a counter movement.
Exactly.
And then
it's always up and down. Yeah. The flow.
Yeah. You know, like for a while, like breaks had gone away for many, many years. And
There's
now
a lot of breaks coming back.
Now they're like back with a vengeance.
I might play some breaks tonight.
Yeah. You know, and like trance was big 20 years ago and then people hated trance. Oh, shit's cheesy. And now like so much of techno is trance.
There's techno trance. That's like the biggest thing going like across the world.
Yeah.
Right
like
now.
See like all the
That's why
I've
gone to this minimal thing. Because I'm just like, this is getting a little over the top. I want to take it back.
Yeah, it's time for a return. It's time for a return to minimal. I'm trying to think what else we need a return of that I haven't heard of in a while.
I think some deep house, you know, get away from the tech house a little bit. Let's get some deep house back in here, a little strip back vibes.
Yeah, a little bit of deep house. And also just like classic kind of like Chicago house. It's like very kind of like...
I used to love did you ever go to Relove in the Park parties?
Yeah.
Those were dope. Fucking Sunday house parties.
That's Grand Park, right?
Yeah, they had them at different parks too.
Okay.
They had them in Torrance Park once.
Oh shit!
Like right by my house.
Okay.
So, yeah, those were super fun, and they were always just like OG house, the straight OG house.
Yeah,
music,
man. Like, there's not as much of that lately, right? Like, it's all about techno.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true. I see it. There is some. Guys, like I see Matrix Man, he slipped some house tracks in there from time to time. He played like a dubstep track at the show that I played with him. He's just throwing little curveballs and stuff, which I'm kind of like starting to get more open to just curveballing it up a little bit, being a little more versatile with changing the genre mid-set. Just
some surprises, some surprises for the folks. I'll end with I saw a meme recently that I love that was like, you know, it's amazing how like any drop can like get people like losing their minds. You know, it's like peekaboo for adults.
Yeah, wait for it.
Yeah. So with that, I hope that, you know, for tonight's show, you get to drop some peekaboos on some alien looking motherfuckers tonight.
Thank you, brother.
You know, with that, is there anything you want to plug? Like plug your socials, plug your parties.
Follow me pretty much everywhere is at Stephen Disario, STEPHEN DISARIO.
And there will be links to all of that in the description for this video. And then you've got Boiler Room in El Paso coming up.
Vancouver next month. Then I got El Paso Boiler Room party.
Well, thank you, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
For all y'all out there, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Thanks. Bye.